Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers, a live Facebook interactive show where you, the viewer, has total input on topics of discussion regarding any subject that includes commenting, talking, or debating, not with just your host, but with each other, you, the viewers. You control and run this show. We are just a rudder that steers this big old vessel. This is the show that is wide open with no limits as we bring it to you first. We discuss news, politics, and business, sports, and other things pertinent to our community, including Stark, Lake Butler, Keystone Heights, Waldo, Melrose, Brooker, Middleburg, Lake City, and Gainesville and the entire regional area. We will also talk about happenings in the great state of Florida and South Georgia as we talk about state news, politics, and sports, and also delve into news and current events going on in our great nation and the world today that affect our everyday lives. Now, let me introduce the show team, the guys that make it all happen, bringing the move to the groove. First, behind the controls with the video and audio is our senior producer, Mr. Command and Control, the big dog, our executive producer, Super Dave Daredevil Holland. Say hello, David. There he is. And joining him behind the scenes, keeping the flow to the show, is our director, Michael, the Dragon Slayer Heater. Up next, our advertising and marketing guru and part of our media team, John, better than Snopes. Probes. Our sports production assistant, Roger, the Tornado Cruz.
Roger, the MIA Tornado.
Yeah, that's what you should add to that. Our man with all things weather and part of our media team, Austin Storm Chaser Stevens. Say hello, Austin.
Good evening, everyone.
And now my co-host. He is not here to my left. He is missing in action right now. So I'll go to my right with local news and breaking information. Mitchell, the American Scout, and your lookout on terrorism and anything else that does not belong or looks out of place, Gunter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Have you found anything yet?
Oh, I've got some stuff.
Oh, boy.
I got a nickname for him.
What do you got?
K9.
There you go. I'm your host, Mr. David Rodgers, the voice of the Bradford High Tornadoes, and
The Show Pony.
welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Glad that y'all are here with us tonight. We are coming to you live from the Emergency Operations Center here at the Bradford County Sheriff's Office. And we want to thank our host, Sheriff Gordon Smith, and his great emergency management staff for their hospitality as always, man. I tell you what great guys we got here at the
right.
EOC and our Sheriff's Department. No doubt about it. Just a reminder about our new format to make sure you, the viewers, get your chance to interact. That's right, folks. We have the all-new
ADO,
which stands for
Audience-Driven Overtime.
Audience-Driven Overtime. That's right. Our new format gives everyone equal opportunity in each segment. But when we hit a topic near and dear to your heart and you want to address it, we go into ADO, Audience-Driven Overtime. So you, the viewer, get your say. But now it's time to kick off the show with our prayer, our Pledge of Allegiance, and the reading of Byron's great-great-great-grandfather tonight, Patrick Henry.
Patrick Henry,
That's right, and you're going to be doing that. So as always, let's start off with a prayer, please. If everybody will bow their heads. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us thank you again for this beautiful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us be with the viewers here on the spot with David Rodgers and my crew and the staff that helped put all this together, dear Lord. Thank you and bless them more than abundantly, dear Lord. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day as it goes into the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Thank you for the greatest country that we live in today, the freest country in the world, the United States of America. Thank you, dear Lord, for our armed forces, the greatest fighting force in the world, dear Lord, to help keep those freedoms and those rights for us, the United States citizen. Any spoken and unspoken prayer request, dear Lord, that you touch each and every one of those individuals, because you know what's in their heart, dear Lord, and you know what's going on with them. Again, keep a hedge of protection as we go out throughout the rest of the week and look forward to this weekend. We ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says,
Amen.
Amen. Let us stand for the pledge. And Mr. Mitchell Gunner, if you would do the great honor, sir, of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right. How about that reading, Mr. Mitchell
Yes,
Gunner, in place for Byron Bagwell?
Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death.
Yes, that's exactly right. About as simple as you can put it,
That's
right?
it.
So Patrick Henry, is he considered one of our founding forefathers as well? I think he is to a certain extent, isn't he?
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, I do believe you're right. I would too as well. So before we get into the quick and dirty, as we always do, I want to welcome Jason Vaught, better known as Sarge, working out with me at New Millennium. Mark Cook also working out with me at New Millennium. Hello, Mark. Hello, Jason. Sheila Lyons, thank you. John Probst. Yeah, I know that guy too. Yvonne Stevens, it's been a while since you've joined us. Good evening. Connie Wilson, good evening to you as well. And Ann Beckham Goins, thank you for joining us as well. Now, we're going to get right into the quick and dirty. Here's your quick and dirty for this Tuesday night, sponsored by Austin's Weather Service in Keystone Heights. Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook. Send in your zip code and get a detailed local forecast just for you. We start in Duval County, where the superintendent of schools, Dr. Diana Green, filled in as a substitute while the teachers rallied in Tallahassee for a protest fighting for higher teacher pay and more funding for public schools. Over 10,000 teachers, parents and students, and community members participated in the rally for more funding, which was more than the governor had attended for his 2019 inauguration. Wow. Isn't that crazy, Mitchell?
That's crazy.
The Stark Police Department is warning people not to leave keys in vehicles after a rash of stolen cars in town over the last couple of weeks. Anyone who sees any suspicious activities should call 904-966-6161. Again, that number is 904-966-6161 and report it. And I want to add that. I understand everybody wants to try to take things into their own hands. You don't know about these people that are breaking into these cars, breaking into your homes, breaking into these businesses. Let the proper people, the authorities, handle those kind of situations. You do the right thing, and I'm taking this from John Walsh, In Pursuit and America's Most Wanted. Make the call. That's the most important thing as you, a citizen of your county, your city, what town, whatever it is, you make that call and let the authorities handle it.
You know, John Walsh in that program,
Yes.
Most Wanted,
Yes.
he's put 1,400
Yes, he
people
has.
off the street.
Yes, he
because of
has.
that program.
Yep. And it all happened because of a tragedy in his life.
right.
Mr. Adam Walsh, young Adam Walsh, back in 1982, disappeared from a mall. They still don't know who really did it, do they? I mean, I know some people has come and said that they've done it, but they still don't really know who did it. So he's taken this and made some good and some positives out of it. America's Most Wanted, like you said, and now In Pursuit with John Walsh. Now he's got, is it the younger son? The younger son is helping him out with that show as well.
Right.
So excellent show. So make sure you call the proper authorities. How about in White Springs? A White Springs man was killed Sunday night after he was struck by a car in Lake City. Alan Odom, age 52, was struck by a car as he was riding his bicycle on Lake Jeffrey Road and Scenic Lake Drive. The Florida Highway Patrol is handling this investigation. Wow.
And while you're speaking of that real quick, if you are out there riding your bicycle around or you're on a skateboard, please, if you're doing it at night, wear light clothing.
Yes.
Make sure all your reflectors are working on your bicycle or have a light on your bike.
By law,
You have to have a light.
Front and
Right.
back.
Yeah. Front and back.
So Make sure that you have those.
Exactly. Good call, Mitchell. In national sports news, the LSU Tigers beat the Clemson Tigers 42-25 in a show-stopping game. That into the sports, but I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. I was wrong in that prediction. I was wrong in the outcome of that game. And let me tell you, I see Dwight Allen. Thank you for joining us, Chris Davis, Carlton Jones. Congratulations, LSU. I've got to tilt my cap to that team. That team is special and phenomenal. They were down early. They came back. The game was close until the third quarter. We're going to get into all that. But LSU was the better team that night. There's no doubt in my mind that LSU is the best team in the country right now. No doubt. What do you think, Mitchell? You agree?
Their defense played excellent.
Outstanding defensive effort for sure. And Clemson's defense didn't play that bad. And like I said, we're going to get into that in the sports section. Breaking news out of California as 17 children and 9 adults are injured after an unusual substance fell from the sky. Delta Flight 89 departing the Los Angeles airport, headed to Shanghai. You know where Shanghai is? China. Yeah, China. Experienced some engine difficulties shortly after takeoff and had to return to LAX for an emergency landing. Due to the anticipated distance, they were loaded with fuel to safely land back at the airport, as I used to have to do on those P3s. You have to dump fuel, which just happened to land on what? Park Avenue Elementary School. Isn't that crazy? Giamanetti. LA. Oh, my God, you ain't kidding. LA County Fire Rescue responded to the event and treated all 23 patients for skin irritation and inhalation of fuel fumes. So thank God for that. Fortunately, no one was transported to the hospital, and all patients were able to leave on their own. Absolutely. Great job. Finally, here he is right here. Here's your Austin's Weather Service quick and dirty forecast for the region. We have seen some cloudy and dreary days lately. Austin, give us the latest forecast and welcome in.
Oh, thank you. We have had the fog this morning. That was very, very dense. I had to walk in it this morning, but I had an amazing photo that I posted on Facebook, but I forgot to post it on the Austin Westers page about the moon this morning behind the fog, and it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. So anyways, we're going to have more patch fog tonight, so use your low beam headlights and keep plenty of distance from the vehicle in front of you. No tailgating.
No tailgating.
No tailgating.
All right.
And then tonight, temperatures will fall down to 57 to 61. Tomorrow, they'll rise back up to 81 to 86, and the heat saga continues. But a cool air mass will start moving into the area by late week.
Wow. How about that? All right, Austin, you keep us updated. Thank you, Austin, for that report. And that is your quick and dirty for this Saturday night. Brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. From the coming cooler weather to a flash forecast, find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook. Our fantastic sponsors. We can't do this show, Dave, without our sponsors. Let's talk about them right now. Miracle Automotive and Recovery in Stark and McClinney. Call 24 hours a day for all your service and towing needs at 904-368-1114. That number is 904-368-1114. And that's Miracle Automotive and Recovery. That's Kenny and Kirk Miracle, owners of that. Great friends of ours and of the show. Harry Business Salon. My man, our producer, Dave Holland, owns that particular establishment. That's in the Deerfoot Plaza. Open 7 days a week from 9 till 6 on Monday through Saturday and noon till 4 on Sundays. Mr. John Probst, do you mind coming and stepping around to this camera real quick? Yeah, he's like, well, you put me on the spot, David. This is a haircut. Look at the sharpness of this haircut, ladies and gentlemen. Turn to the side a little bit, John. Let them see it. This is what Mr. Dave Holland did at his shop for John Probst. That is a perfect, thank you, John. That is a perfect haircut right there, ladies and gentlemen. Dave takes care of all of our hairs. He wants us to look good for the show. And I tell you what, Fantastic job. Not only working the controls, but getting us prepped up for the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking, I've got to get
Speaking
something
of-
done pretty soon.
Yeah, and me too. Look at this mop in the
And
back.
that little guy next to you.
Yeah, and the little guy next to me as well.
I thought you was just bringing back the mullet.
Well, yeah, you can talk about that later.
I guess
Yeah.
I'll have to bring my tools and do your haircut while you're on the show.
Well, there you go. We can do that. We can show that. Absolutely. Schuster and Sabin Law Firm out of Jacksonville, Florida. We've got a sponsor out of Jacksonville.
That's right.
Thanks to Mr. John Probst. If you were involved in a car accident or if you are a healthcare professional and need legal counsel, go to right here, www.piplaw.com. That's Schuster and Sabin Law Firm out of Jacksonville, Florida. If you were involved in a car accident or if you need or a healthcare professional and need legal counsel, go to www.piplaw.com. Williams Jewelry of Start, who have changed their store hours, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 4. Saturdays, 10 to 4. Closed on Sundays.
That's
and
right.
Vicki Williams is one of our good friends. We've done a show from there. I think we may be able to get back and do a show there as well.
And like I've always said, if you go into their store and you don't see something that you like, you can talk to Miss Vicki,
Yep.
and they can make it right there on the premises.
Yeah, and they can order it for you, right? Special
That's right.
orders? Yeah,
And they
she'll
can do
take special
special
orders. Go back there just a second, Dave, real quick. On the spot lawn maintenance. Let the red, white, and blue take care of your green. We have your gutters and pressure washing covered and all sorts of yard maintenance needs. You know who owns that?
Yeah. David Rodgers.
Yes, he does. And Mr. Bart Norton is my partner in that. So I want to thank Bart for taking care of most of those lawns because, you know, hey, I have to have a full-time guy to do that, especially if I'm
Right.
working full-time. So he's doing a wonderful job. Yeah, Bart Norton. And that's exactly right. And you can catch that on our Facebook page as well. Servers First, mobile small engine repair in McRae. Let Chuck Scarberry come to you. Call 904-703-5136 to schedule your appointment. We did the research, and tonight we absolutely know who Mitchell's great-great-grandfather is. Arthur Niebler. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? The apparel engineer that designed the world's first boxer briefs. You know when he did it? On January 19th, 1935. How about that? And guess what? It just keeps flowing down, doesn't it?
That's
Brought
right.
it to his grandson. You want to parade around in your boxers all the time, so I figured I'd give your grandfather
I wonder
some
if
props.
I wonder if they were making them out of silk back then.
Well, maybe. Hey, I don't know. We'll have to check on Arthur Niebler there and find out what he did. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in. I'm going to get to some comments right here. Again, welcome Chris Davis. Again, congratulations to LSU. We're going to get into that. Carlton Jones, thank you for joining us. There he is. Tom Bailey, thank you. Austin Stevens, thank you for joining us. I know that guy too. Sheila Lyons, yes, ma'am, absolutely. Check out that video I just sent to your inbox. Yes, I will, Tom. Yes, I want to get into that because that is a controversy right now going on. And I think that was done illegally. And I'll get into that in the sports section. Let's see.
Are you
Clans.
talking about
Linda Wilshire Clans. SEC Nation produces the greatest teams.
Are you talking about Nick Saban there?
No, I'm talking
about
about OBJ. No, I'm talking about OBJ there. Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
handing out cash to LSU players, and they're catching it. You heard about that? So we'll get into that a little bit. Linda, I will agree, but you got to agree that until Clemson got beat last night, they were the king of the roost, and they were from the ACC. So everybody says this ACC is a weak conference. Me and David and Byron talked a little bit about this, and we'll get into that as we take care of our sports. I don't think it's as weak as everybody thinks. Yes, it was down. I think you're going to see some teams get better next year, Mitchell, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
There's only one team that can say 15-1.
14-1. Yeah, that's exactly right. And 29-1 over 2 years.
Yeah.
Only one team, and you're exactly right. Byron Bagwell, thank you for joining us. I hope everything's going well, brother. We tried to give you a ring. I hope everything's going well. Keep tuned into the show. If you can make it here and you're in the area, come on. We'd love to have you. I've got this good-looking guy filling in for you, Mr. Austin Stevens. Let's see, Dwight. In California, everything causes cancer. There seems to be right, Dwight Allen. I seem to tend to agree with you. There's no doubt about that.
I don't think it's just in California.
Carlton Jones says, Austin, keep us dry. We don't need any more mud.
Oh, well, there is a 30% chance of showers, but no thunderstorms, and that's only on Thursday.
Okay. Renee Stegall Shaw, one of my classmates and a great friend of mine. We got a 40th reunion coming up. Go Tigers. Yep. I can't say, hey, you are absolutely right. I can't say nothing else about that. Dave's son, Dave Holland Jr. is joining us. Jeffrey Goins is joining us. Angie Rogers is joining us. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm going to turn it over to my comrade, my compadre, the guy that's got the telescope looking for what? For anything or in a place or anything that doesn't belong.
That's right.
Our local guru, the man with the plan, the guy that's got the contacts everywhere locally. That's Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Mitchell, tell everybody hello and what you got for us
How
tonight.
y'all doing, everyone? Well, first of all, I want to let you know candidates are already starting to file to run for the 2020 election here in Bradford County. Terry Vaughn, Superintendent of Elections, said the first candidates have entered the races. One of those candidates is Bradford County School Board Superintendent Stacy Creighton. She filled out her paperwork to seek a second term.
Right.
And that's one thing that we haven't had here in Bradford County in a long time is a superintendent who has actually served a second term. Also filing paperwork is Cynthia Berry. She works for Ray Norman, and she's going to be running for clerk of court because Mr. Ray Norman, he will be retiring after over 30 years of service.
How many?
Over 30.
My goodness, that's over half my lifetime.
So he has done a great job, and I know we're going to miss him. And but I believe whoever steps in his shoes will continue on the same type of work that has been going on for those past 30 years.
I agree.
Also, the City of Stark Code Enforcement started fining properties after code enforcement hearings. Some of the properties are as followed: abandoned home located on Stansbury Street, which is across from Southside Elementary School. Another property is located at 301 in Lafayette Street, and that's the old Checkers. And then it turned into a Chinese restaurant.
Right.
I know that's been an eyesore for quite some time.
Right.
There are also some other houses of interest. One of them is located on 706 North Street.
Right.
And it was declared as a public nuisance, as well as a structure on Eastwood Drive that is, just totally condemned and needs something done with. I know last week we had some people asking about the bowling alley.
Yes.
Can
I stop you right there?
Sure.
Real quick. It's funny that you say that because I had to stop by a couple of places, and I stopped by the Downtown Grill, and a good friend of ours and of the show, Angie Rogers, was there, and Sandy was there, and they was telling me, David, you need to open up that bowling alley. That's right before we came to this show. I was like, are you kidding me? Before I had to turn on my oven, I had to go by there and take care of a couple of things, and they was telling me that, and I said, isn't that interesting? Now here you are talking about the bowling alley.
Well, I mean, this is such bad shape. I mean, there's really no way of fixing that. It's going to have to be tore down anyway.
Yes.
But I know the City of Stark, they had sent out a notice, and they have to the 20th of this month to come up with a plan.
Right.
For that.
Yes.
Or, feeds can be addressed on that.
Right.
And speaking of feeds, the feeds for these properties that are in disarray can start out from $50 to $100 and up, just depending on, how bad that property is.
Right.
In other news, Camp Blandon celebrates 80 years.
Woo! 80 years Camp Blandon.
Wow.
Like it.
Camp Blandon opened in 1940.
Wow.
And was used for active duty training center to prepare troops from New England
Mhm.
and several southern states to be deployed overseas.
Right.
It also served as infantry replacement center and an induction center for a site of a prison of war camp.
Wow.
So, and they celebrated their birthday on January the 4th. And I'll tell you, if you'll go back and you look at pictures of the city of Stark in the 40s, city of Stark was a hopping town.
Yes, it was.
The sidewalks were full of people.
Yes.
I mean, it was unreal.
Yep.
So if you ever get a chance, try to look back and see some of those pictures. And actually, I think you can go to the museum that we have here, and those photos are on display.
Now, Mitchell, correct me if I'm not wrong, and I don't know how much you know about it. Maybe some of our viewers can entertain us as well. I do believe at one time that all three counties were all like tied in together.
Yes.
Union,
Yes.
that part of Clay where Keystone's at, and wasn't Stark the county seat for all that at one time?
I'll have to look back, but yes, all of that was definitely Union County and Bradford. It was all Union County.
Correct.
Right.
And I believe that Stark.
And then it was separated.
Right. Yeah. So, but I do believe that Stark may have been the county seat. Maybe some people on that know a little bit about Stark history and Lake Butler history can tune us in on that. But absolutely. So you're right. It used to be a hopping town. And Camp Blanding still does these kind of things. We still bring troops in.
Right.
I know on Thursday nights when I host trivia, I see a lot of these Army guys that aren't, just regulars here that are stationed here. Hey, where are you from? They're coming in to get their couple of weeks worth of training or whatever it is. And so it's still hopping out there in Camp Blanding.
You can actually hear the guns firing this past weekend.
Practice drills.
And they also were doing night jumps.
Night jumps,
and,
exactly.
Someone asked me, says, what's night jump? So
explain.
They're parachuting at night. They're jumping out of C-130.
Yeah.
I say about 10 or 15 of them jump out at a time. It's not a whole lot. And then they'll make the rounds, they'll land, and they'll pick up some more people, and they take them up, and then they do their drops.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, brother. Good deal. So Camp Blanding, celebrating 80 years. Absolutely excellent. I know we got a sad story right here,
Yes,
brother.
we sure
and
do.
I've been asked about that all day.
This is the shooting that happened over in Brooker. Jonathan Nash was shot in the back by his co-worker and neighbor, Timothy Martin, around midnight on January 11th. Timothy Martin was taken into custody a short time later, and he is currently booked into the Bradford County Jail. Also arrested was Kevin Dotson.
Yes.
For possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and accessory to attempted murder. Dotson is the one that lent Martin the firearm.
Yeah.
So
I think, didn't Martin say, and I don't know the whole story, and maybe John can get into it. And again, I don't want to just speculate here, but I do believe that Martin said, go get me a gun, is what I've been hearing. Go get me a gun. Supposedly this guy went and got the gun.
Right.
And then the next thing, this escalates.
Right. And I imagine there's still a lot of investigation going on this matter. To get down to the cause of it, the reason why it was happening.
Yep.
And so anyway, we want to think of the Nash family and keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And,
isn't she a teacher or something? Or is she works in the school or something?
Yes, she works in the school system at Brooker Elementary.
At Brooker? Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think in this last week's Telegraph, there's a picture of Jonathan Nash with his son in there because they were doing career day.
Right.
And that happened.
And one of them,
a couple days right before this shooting.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about this, we're bringing this to you, but it's been out already. One of these people, you tell me if you know it, Mitchell. One of these people has a small baby too, as well. Is it Nash or is it the other guy here?
I'm not for sure.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a picture of a baby, a small infant. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, Mitchell Gunner, Dave Holland, Austin Stevens will tell you, this is a tragedy for everybody that was involved here. Yes. If this guy goes on to pass away, or even if he has any kind of lasting injuries, he's going to be severely affected for the rest of his life. The guy that pulled that trigger, that's going to impact him. And, of course, he's probably, what Mitchell just said, he's probably going to have to do some serious prison time or some jail time for sure. And then Mr. who was it, the one that gave me the farm?
And the thing is, because this is accessory before the fact.
Before the fact,
so he
correct.
could actually get the same amount of time as Timothy
Martin, yeah.
So, but that's determined by the judge and the jury.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Nobody wins on that situation.
Nobody wins here, no. And the whole family is affected. I mean, from just not the immediate to everybody. So,
and this goes to tell everybody out there that these type of incidents can happen anywhere in the United States, not just in your big cities, but your small towns.
Yeah.
So,
anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
Always keep an eye out if something doesn't look right.
It probably isn't right.
It probably isn't
It
right.
probably isn't right. What is it what is it? What's the old saying? If it walks like a duck, and it is a duck.
Like a duck,
Yeah,
it is.
It is a duck.
That's correct. So we want to keep that family in our prayers.
Right.
Another thing out of Gainesville, the STD are on the rise in Gainesville and Jacksonville, ranking those two cities in the top 100 cities in the United States for sexually transmitted diseases.
Wow.
Jacksonville is number 48, and Gainesville is number 51.
Oh, my goodness.
Jacksonville had 1,088 cases per 100,000 people, and Gainesville had 1,057 cases out of 100,000 people.
1,057 and 1,088.
How many people are in Jacksonville? Over 1 million.
Yes.
There, I think it's 1 million too.
100,000?
I can get the population.
Well, no, he's talking 1,000.
Yeah.
Which is still 1%.
That was 1,088 out of 100,000.
And that's reported cases, right? That's reported cases.
Right. And in that same scope, Jacksonville had 104 HIV cases.
Oh, my gosh.
And Gainesville had 53 HIV cases.
That is absolutely terrible. I mean, this goes to show you, Mitchell, and I know you were probably fixing to say this, make sure you use protection.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what? And if you haven't, go get yourself checked. Go get some blood work done. Make sure that you don't have HIV and accidentally spread it to somebody else. But I will say, if you do have HIV and you know it and you willingly give it to somebody else, you're going to go to prison for it.
Yes, you are. That is a criminal offense now.
Yes, it is.
That is a criminal offense, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't believe me, not only ask Mitchell Gunner, not only ask Dave Holland, you can look it up yourself. That is a criminal offense now if you knowingly give that to somebody.
Now, you're saying Jacksonville has 1,080
reported cases
out of every 100,000
people.
If there's 1 million,
that's
10,000.
10,000.
Jacksonville, that comes out
to 10,000.
10,880.
Right. Now that's sexually transmitted diseases, so that's
reported
that's all
cases.
of them. That can be anywhere from herpes cases to
it could be other sexually
cases,
right. Yep.
And 304 cases of HIV in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
So this was actually a breaking story right before I left the house.
Wow. Okay.
A student brought a loaded firearm to a middle school in Interlaken, Florida.
Why?
This matter is still under investigation, and this happened on the campus of C&H Price Middle School.
Mitchell,
Why?
let me ask you and Dave something. And Dave just hit the question right on the head. Why? I'm going to tell you, after this is all investigated, you're going to come to find out this kid was being bullied.
It's very
some
possible.
sort of form or
so.
fashion. Why do you bring a gun after all this and you know what happens and you know what could happen? Why would you bring a loaded firearm to the school? The only other thing that I could think of is if he was torqued off with a teacher or some kind of administrative staff, that he was just going to come and do the deed.
They're going to look at his emails, and
of course they are.
Pretty much tell the story.
Yep, because kids like that, they brag.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. You think you can keep something secret? No, they brag to their friends. And next thing you know, all you got to do is follow that trail, and guess what? You're caught.
That's right.
This
Busted.
wasn't a show and tell.
No, it wasn't. No, that was
No.
not. No,
And
you shouldn't.
you're right. About 90% of the time, that student is carrying a firearm because of being bullied, and he's tired or she's tired of being bullied.
Yep.
And
Fully agree.
you know, and if you are a student and you are being bullied, please report it to the administrators.
Absolutely.
And if that doesn't help, report it to your mother and father anyway, and then turn it over to the sheriff's office.
Turn it over to
Or
the
turn it
proper
over to the
authorities.
police department.
Yeah,
Don't
we
be
just
afraid
talked
to
about it.
tell.
No, don't be afraid to tell.
Don't be afraid to
It's-
tell. No.
You're not being a tattletale.
No.
You're trying to protect yourself.
Yes.
And stop in a situation to get really bad
Yeah,
later on down the road.
I agree.
We got some events coming up.
All right.
One of
I
the
like
events
events.
that are coming up is the
Yeah.
Bradford County Relay for Life car show
Oh,
that
I heard
I'm
about
putting on.
that.
Your
for,
dear friend right here is going to do.
doing it for Linda Lee and friends. See, our relay teams, we have different teams. So
Yep.
Linda Lee and friends is one of those teams.
Yep.
This will be taking place on February the 29th from 9:30 to 2 p.m.
All right.
The location of the event is going to be at the Florida Cracker Restaurant. That's located there at 7154 Southeast County Road 21B, Keystone Heights, Florida. And if you want the zip, it's 32656.
Okay.
That way, if you want to write that down, I'll repeat it one more time. And
Absolutely.
That way you can enter it in your GPS. It's 7154 Southeast County Road 21B, Keystone Heights, Florida 32656.
And if you didn't get that and you want to be reminded, go on to our page and watch our pre-recorded show for tonight, and we'll have it there.
There you go.
And go ahead and put it out there. We're looking for sponsors for the awards. I'm also going to speak to the owners at the Florida Cracker Kitchen and see if we can get some vendors out there as well. So there's a possibility of having some vendors.
Right.
Are you going to have drawings and all that?
Yes, we actually will have drawings for door prizes, and we'll also do a 50-50 drawing.
Well, come on by
there
the
at the
shop
end.
and I'll give
So-
you a couple certificates.
That works.
cool,
See, right
cool.
here, already got a
All right.
sponsor, and I'm going to give you a couple, too, for some lawn maintenance. How about
Okay,
that?
Cool.
So that works right there. Look
yeah.
at there.
So
Double right there.
We want to thank Dave Holland and Harry Business.
David,
And on your spot, lawn and maintenance
Yeah,
right here.
there you go.
Also
There you
want
go.
to mention out a couple other companies that's helping us out. We got Jegs Performance.
Wow.
I've been in talks with them. They're going to be sending us stuff, rockauto.com. If you've never been to rockauto.com, go on there. You can find some pretty good deals. Also, it looks like we got products that makes heads and cylinder heads and stuff for all types of applications, from drag cars to the hobbyists.
Breaking news right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. We're in audience-driven overtime, by the way. Dave, whoop, give it. Yep. We're in audience-driven overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news right now. You'll hear it first right here on the spot right here with David Rodgers. Military helicopter makes an emergency landing at Middleburg Elementary School. Just happened just a few minutes ago.
Wow.
Yeah, military helicopter, ladies and gentlemen, makes an emergency landing at Middleburg Elementary School. And who says that on the spot with David Rodgers and the crew don't bring it to you first? Breaking news right here. Just as we're sitting here talking about that. That was published. What time is it right now? You caught it 5 minutes after it happened at 7:39. So right there, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring you the details on that as we get into it. And maybe Austin can find us. So, Austin, if you'll read into that a little bit, and maybe you can give us a little detail here in just a few minutes.
Will do.
So,
But yeah, we want to thank all
Sorry
those.
about that, Mitchell.
That's all right. We want to thank all those sponsors that we already have on board that's going to help out with this event. I'm actually getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people that's drawing a lot of interest all the way from Ocala to Southern Georgia. So I hope we have a good crowd of people. And if you don't have a car, come out there.
yeah.
Come look.
Yeah.
Come enjoy yourself and look and grab you something to eat there at the Florida Cracker
And you
Kitchen.
never know. If you're looking for a car, somebody may want to sell you theirs.
That's
There's
right.
always something
That's
for
right.
sale, right? If
That's
the
right.
price is right.
Price is right.
Price is right. Something's always for sale. So absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, come out and make sure you attend this great event.
Another event that's going on this weekend actually is the Bradford Riding Club for the Boys Ranch benefit is this Saturday at 4 p.m. located at the Bradford County Fairgrounds.
All right. Okay.
So that's going on as well.
All right. Mitchell, thank you for that great report, and thank you for bringing us the local news, and thank you for looking out for anything that doesn't belong here or looks out of place. You're always on top of it. What are you going to see if you see it? Do you? Give it to us.
All right, that military helicopter has landed at Middleburg Elementary School safely. For precaution, there is another military helicopter surrounding the area because of safety precautions. The Clay County Sheriff's Office is not releasing any details, but updates will be out as soon as possible.
And that update you can catch on the Spot Live Facebook page. And I'm going to tell you something right now while we've got a little break, Dave, and then we'll get to our comments, all right? You can catch, if you're not a regular viewer and you just happen to stumble upon On the Spot with David Rodgers or somebody has told you about it, you can become a full-time viewer, a subscriber of On the Spot with David Rodgers. How do you do that? Go to the search button on Facebook Live. Go type in On the Spot with David Rodgers. You have to put with David Rodgers, right, David? Because if you don't, you're going to get 50,000 other On the Spots. So you have to hit that one. Go down to the center of the page, hit the like button. When you hit the like button, when we go on air, which is Tuesday nights at 7 p.m., Saturday nights at 7 p.m., you will get dinged or notified, and boom, you can join in as a viewer and make any kind of comments that you want, anything that you want to talk about, you put it there. So also what you can do, let's say you don't have anything that particular night, but man, I want Dave and the crew to talk about this on Saturday night. Well, you can go to our email address and type in that suggestion, which is on the spot 32091 at gmail.com. So give it to us one more time, Austin.
That is on the spot 32091 at gmail.com. And I want to clarify last night that any email out there, like Austin's Weather Service email and everything else, is all lowercase. There's no such thing as a capital email.
But now, Austin, let me correct you on that. They can still type it in that way, right? And they can still get to it, right?
No.
Because I've done it that way.
Normally.
On the spot. Now, I don't know about on Austin's Weather Service, but I know on the spot you can.
You can?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
So
probably
you
pops
could
up
be
with Google.
And it may, and it could possibly be. So I agree with you. Yeah, everything should be in lowercase. That's the way I try to type stuff in. That's for sure. So
I want to mention something that was broke just a little earlier.
Okay.
I know a lot of people heard about the gentleman that was working on the trailer up there in Jacksonville.
Yes.
He did pass away. So
breaking news again, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, it's on the bad side this time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Sometimes we got some great news. Sometimes we got some bad news. But anyway, breaking news here.
Questionable if you
okay, yeah.
or not want to.
Well, that's okay. We're gonna say it. Hey, we're right here. We're a news source, right? Yep. So you hear it right here on the spot with David Rodgers. You can hear it live. We just lost a longtime resident of Stark, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. We will not give a name till the family is notified first. We just got this in. Breaking news right here. We will follow up with that on the Saturday night show. Good job, David. Again, breaking news. We lost a longtime resident of Stark, Florida. We will not give a name right now for the sake of the family until the family is notified, and then we will follow up on the next show. So a couple of breaking stories there for you. You hear it first right here on the spot with David Rodgers. Now, I want to keep talking about our Facebook. So part of my media team right here, Mr. Austin Stevens, has been working as part of the media team along with Dave Hall, along with John Probst and Michael Heater. We are going to be on YouTube. So YouTube, we're going to simulcast this particular product. We're going to still be going Facebook Live, but you'll be able to go to YouTube as well. Now, the address, would one of you gentlemen like to give that address? And I'd like to give it a couple of times so people can write it.
The YouTube is on the spot with David Rodgers, like it is on Facebook.
Tell them how they can find that,
You
Austin.
can go to youtube.com and search up On the Spot with David Rodgers. Right now, it's not popping up as the YouTube channel currently has low views, but where I'm going to publish the link to On the Spot with David Rodgers on the Austin's West Service Facebook page to get it going, spread into the community groups around here, and go to Austin's West Service, and you'll see it out there. I'll put it at the top of the page.
So right now, you can go to youtube.com.
Right.
Search in On the Spot with David Rodgers.
Very important.
It'll pop up at the top of that search list. Right now, we have one show downloaded.
Right.
We have a subscribe button that you can subscribe to our show, and I believe you'll probably get pinged on that as well.
I believe you will.
And as we speak, Austin is downloading the rest of our shows, so you'll be able to watch what we've done for the past year or so.
Yep. And that's not everything. This is just the shows that we've done either that as by myself
That's the
or
YouTube channel right now. That's what it is right now.
can I unplug this real quick?
Yep.
This is what it'll look like, ladies and gentlemen. Dave, if you can hold that, or if I can hold that right there. So
we're going to start releasing the episodes from episode 1, so on and so forth. And I want to get this all public for all y'all viewers by February 20th. 2020.
February 2020. So that's about a month away or so.
And we will probably, I'd say 95% be going live within the week.
Wow.
Maybe Saturday show or next Tuesday show.
So here we go. So for everybody that doesn't have Facebook, which everybody doesn't, people like to go on YouTube and watch different podcasts, get different things. You will be able to now view every episode that we've done once we get them all there, plus the live episodes that will be coming. And you just heard our producer say it could be as close as Saturday, possibly Tuesday. So let's keep that in mind. We will keep you updated. We're going to keep hammering this thing down. We're also going to put it on the Facebook page as well to remind you of that as well. So anybody that you know that doesn't have Facebook and wants to be a part of this show and wants to watch the show, now you will have the capability with YouTube. That's awesome. Thank you, David.
I'd like to say to all our viewers tonight, if you like what that sounds like, give us a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Come on, give us that
give us some thumbs up. All right, Dave, let's get to a couple of comments here before we get into a couple of other things here. I know everybody wants to talk about this game last night. So, yeah, absolutely. I'll let you get into a couple of national stories there. Dave Holland Jr., Jeffrey Goins, thank you. Andrew Rogers, thank you for joining us. Byron Bagwell, good evening, my brother. I hope everything is well. I will be calling you after the show. Will Smith, thank you. Carlton Jones, yeah, I have to try out that new access road out of Strawberry Acres before I take my bus down so there's no mud. I got you. Bring some cooler weather. Shouldn't be sweating right now, he's saying. There we go, and there goes the thumbs up. Everybody's going to like the YouTube thing. I think it's going to be a big hit. So, yeah, Bart Norton, thank you for joining us. Trying to get to all your comments. Thank you again for joining us on the spot with David Rodgers. Right along to my right here is the American Scout, the lookout on terrorism and anything that doesn't belong here, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Back in the back right here. Hey, say hello, David. Dave, the producer, super daredevil. That's a tongue twister. Holland.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Austin
Mr.
Stevens.
YouTube over here.
Yeah. Hey, here's our weather guy and our media guy, Mr. Austin Stevens right here. Renee Steve, heavy fog and very low visibility with 60s, low 70 temperatures over here today. And if you don't know where she's talking about, that would be my hometown of Pascagoula, Mississippi. Very seasonable. Yes, it is. Sheila Lyons says, yes, she's going to see Mr. Norman. Yeah, there you go. That bowling alley building is junk.
Yeah.
Dwight Allen, it is junk.
It's going to have to be torn down. There's no doubt about it. So it will disappear just like Peppo did.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So, and hopefully we can put another bowling alley in there.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice to do that. We'll see what happens. Austin replying to Renee. Shaw, yep, I guess so, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. Lucy Davis, thank you for joining us. Carlton Jones, Camp Blanding Museum is great to visit.
Yes,
it
it
is,
is.
if you haven't been there. There's a lot of historical notes, a lot of historical things in there. Do you know? Okay, pop quiz for you guys. I don't know about the rest of the audience. You can answer. Do you know who's a main member of that? Of that the Camp Blanding Museum is definitely one, but I think he's involved in that one too, and the Stark Museum here as well. Do y'all know who a main member of that is?
I can't think of his name.
Mr. Chuck Kramer.
Oh,
Mr. Chuck
That's
Kramer
not-
I didn't
is
expect
big
that
time
one.
involved. You wasn't expecting that one,
No.
was you? Mr. Chuck Kramer. Who's Mr. Chuck Kramer? He's our voice here on WEAG Eagle Country 106.3. He does his radio show from 6 to 10 every morning, and he runs that radio station right along with his beautiful wife, Miss Mary Kramer.
Yeah.
Miss Lynn Velez comes out there and helps out. And guess what?
You got
In
her
the
name
fall, he gets to employ me and Kevin to do the Tornado football games. How about that? There you go.
he's a busy guy.
He's a busy man.
Speaking of Chuck
So,
Kramer,
Dylan Rogers, thank you for joining us, third cousin. Archie Waters, Noah Gibson, hello there. Matt Barksdale, how you doing, sir? Prayers for him and his family sent his way. Yeah, unfortunately, Lucy, you're right. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it is a duck.
That's
You
right.
got that right. Dorothy Starling, thank you. Ocala, STD ranking.
I don't have that. They only release Jacksonville and Gainesville, but hey, I can look it up and I can find out.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So that'll be something that we'll get back with you guys on right there. Channel 4 News was just at Keystone Beach about bullying. How about that? Well, I wish they would have visited Interlaken as well. Pam Whittle. You know who Pam Whittle is? Pam
Yes, I
Whittle
do.
is our director and our head of the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Pam, for all you do. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I hope that you keep watching the show. Tell all your friends about it. Tell all the board members. We'd love to have them on. We'd even like to have them on as guests.
Right.
So if you want to come on as a guest, Pam Whittle, I'm giving you a perfect invitation right now. Come on and join us. We'd love to have you.
Yeah,
We'd love to
we
find
don't
out
bite.
what's going on and start.
we don't bite.
You do.
No, I don't.
All right. Anyway,
I've heard you
what?
bite when it
Yes,
comes down to
sometimes.
football.
Sometimes. I watched a news video earlier in this day, and would anyone let a 9-year-old go to the park unsupervised? Absolutely not. Not in these days.
No.
Not in these days. And I don't even know back in our days, but I tell you what, our mamas used to let us go run and play and all that. You know why? Because everything that's happening right now today in today's world, it didn't really happen back then.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't as prevalent. It was happening. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Because everybody says, well, there was Ted Bundy out there. But yes, there was. But it wasn't as prevalent. You don't hear as much about it. Now you hear at every turn, at every time, you hear these things. And that's why that I would not let a 9-year-old go to the park unsupervised, because you don't know what, hey,
I heard
you've got child, what do you call it? The child, when you're on the child molesters.
Sexual
So
predator.
sexual predators,
That's it.
yeah, sexual predators that live within 500 feet of that, and they're not supposed to, and they're right there. They see a 9-year-old kid unsupervised. Guess what?
Yep.
That's just about as tempting as you can get, isn't it? It's like a lion looking for a pork chop. You know what I mean? And that's terrible to say. You know, it sounds as funny as that sounds. It's the dadgum truth, man.
It's true.
No, don't let a 9-year-old go to the park unsupervised. That parent ought to have his tail beat and go to some counseling to learn how not to let your child go to the park
Now-
unsupervised.
Now, David Rodgers, let's throw that in there about the beating someone's tail. You can't do that, because if you do that, you get thrown in jail.
Well, it varies on. You're absolutely right, Austin. But now, if it's warranted, I may have to take that jail term.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I'm
Go ahead.
laughing at Alan.
Oh, yeah.
Alan's comment.
Did
Yeah,
they
they don't-
donate you a super?
But I tell you, Dwight, would you bringing that up? one of our sponsors might be Pro Charger. I've been talking to them, and they seem really interested, and I had to send them some paperwork just the other day, but they're not going to give me no supercharger.
Oh, no, they're not going to. Well, Miracle, man.
Oh boy!
How about if you're going to have to do a bunch of work for him?
There ain't nobody going to give
Nah,
me
they ain't no
$8,000
$8,000 bucks. No,
supercharger.
they ain't going to do that.
Well, they're about $6,500.
Yeah. Byron Bagwell says, still got the matches. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Byron. Yep, bunch of crazies on this show. Byron Bagwell, you've hit it right on the head. Where's your crazy tale at, by the way?
He's a crazy.
Yeah, Renee says, talking to Byron, I guess. Are you speaking for yourself? Oh, my goodness. We love these comments, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep tuning into the show. This is what we love about it. You can speak your mind. You can speak to whoever you want to. You can speak your piece. Hey, if you got a question and we don't know it, just like Dwight Allen asked us, and particularly you, because you're our local guy, he asked about Ocala. Well, we're going to research it. We're going to try to get you that answer.
Hey, we're like sitting in Mom's kitchen with all our friends and our viewers are
sure.
our friends. And
yes.
Let's all just talk.
Talk. Yeah, this is a big old talk show is what this is. Get off what is off your chest, off of it right here. Hey, you know, there may be something deep inside that's really bothering you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe, first of all, I do want to say this. Hey, none of us are a licensed marriage counselor, a licensed psychiatrist, a licensed psychologist. But I'll tell you what we do have. We have years of experience under our belt.
Yeah.
And we've been probably through some of the things that you could say on this show. We've all been through, debt. We've all been through bad times. We've all been sick. We've all had loved ones pass. We've done all that. So we could possibly help you. And, hey, it doesn't matter what you want to say. You can say it right here on this show, and we'll more than welcome it. And if we can answer it, we'll answer it. And guess what? If we can't, David, guess what? We'll get somebody that can. We'll find somebody that can. I will promise you that. That is one thing about this show, ladies and gentlemen. You will get a response from us. You may not like the response. It may not be the correct response at that time, but I guarantee you we'll correct it. You've heard Mitchell Gunner correct himself many times. I've corrected myself many times. We all have. So please, anything that's bothering you, please come out and say, and maybe we can help. Don't hold it inside. If you hold it inside, all you're going to do is get yourself depressed.
Right.
And you're going to do something irrationally or something that you normally don't do.
Right.
Let's see. Byron Bagwell said, Renee Stigall-Shaw, definitely. Sandy, thank you for joining us. Sheila Lyons for the family prayers. Lucy Davis for the family prayers. Kurt Miracle, sir. Good evening.
How you doing, Kurt?
Kurt, I've got to call you. I found out an answer to that question that you asked me, and I will talk to you about that personally as I give you a phone call, okay? I'll try to give it after the show.
Well, let's hope he's got time to talk on the phone, because that man's trucks are all over.
Oh, my gosh, you ain't
Them
kidding.
guys are working their
And not only the tow trucks, dude, his shop is packed.
I'm telling
Man,
you
it's
now,
hard to get in somewhere.
I gotta
I'll
see
tell
him.
you
I
right
got
now.
something that I need him to look at on my van again.
Yeah, there you go.
He did a great job on some of my work.
Yeah, absolutely. Kurt
Yeah, I
Miracle,
need
one
it.
of our
I need it.
sponsors.
I need to check with him and see if my alternator is what's winding a little
Yeah.
bit on my car.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
All right, Dave, what else you got there real
Maybe
quick?
He's got a blower.
Connie's got something there she wants to say. Prayers for the family. Jerry Feltner, thank you for joining us, sir. By the way, let's stop right there. Jerry Feltner, good friend of all of ours. We all know Jerry. His beautiful daughter, Skylar, got married to Ronnie Norris this past weekend. That was the wedding that I did. Congratulations to you, sir, for your addition to your family. I know you really love the young man. It was a great wedding. It was a great reception. And I want to say, from the bottom of our hearts, me and Miss Shelley Rodgers, known as the Boogie Nights DJ service, thank you for having us there. Hey, we were just touched to be able to give this much to that. You know what I mean? So, absolutely.
What do they say?
Hey,
You didn't lose a daughter.
no, you gained a son. That's exactly right. J.J. Thompson, over at the Downtown Grill. Just seen him a few minutes ago. He was slaving over that hot stove. What I like to call the Gator cook staff. They're all Gator fans. I call them the Gator cook staff. They're
Go
slaving over the hot stove. Go Gators. Get out of here. We'll talk about that later. Lucy Davis is saying hello to you, Dave, I do believe.
Hello, Lucy. How you doing?
Kurt Miracle, there he is. Dwight Allen, my great uncle Ira Allen was one of the first soldiers at Camp Blanding.
Wow.
All right, Mr. Dwight Allen, thank you for sharing that. That is so awesome. Maybe you can give us a little background, a little story, and maybe Mitchell can present it. So Noah Gibson, Patton Vanguard author, is going to be out at Blanding or was out there. How about that? Okay. So, and Pam Whittle is still on with us, I do believe. Troy Arnold says California causes cancer. Well. Yeah, anyway. Lucy, supposed to be 1,000 feet from any child's school. Absolutely. But you know what's happening, Lucy? Here's what's happening. A lot of these guys don't register themselves.
Yep.
So guess what they do? They move into the nearest house, to a school, to a church, somewhere where there's small children. If you are a child pedophile, if you're an adult abuser, you're going to want to be somewhere where there's adults that you can abuse, but mainly we're talking about children here. And you're right, they are supposed to be away from 1,000 feet. But the problem is, before somebody finds out, they've already committed an act or a crime, and now they should have said, well, why did this guy register themselves? Well, I think we do a pretty decent job of policing it, but I think it could be policed more. We need to get more involved, more looking out on this kind of stuff, more awareness of where our pedophiles are.
Well, our sheriff office does a great job of giving that information out. They give it out, I think, once a week. They pick somebody and they say this sexual predator or this sexual offender is located at this address. So they keep it out in the public and keep it known to people. And I think that's a great tool that the sheriff's office does for the community.
Hey, look, if you're going to do the crime, you best do the time. And if that time is, if you're arrested or if you've served jail time for any kind of child molestation, what's the next step? When you're paroled, if you get paroled, to register as a sexual offender or a sexual predator, you better do those steps. I'm telling you right now, that's not part, just because you did the time, that ain't all that you got to fulfill. There's other requirements. There's other things that you got to fulfill. And I tell you, if we would do a better job as a whole country doing that, I guarantee you this will be a better place to live. And your children, maybe you can let them play without looking at them all the time because you ain't got some child molester looking at your kid. So,
well, I got a better way to police it, but I can't say it on the air.
Yeah, well, I got a better way too. Yeah, we all do. We can play. Just call 1-800 the Equalizer. That's us. How about that? It's funny until the scary bear shows up. Parents are not right for leaving kids unsupervised. Noah Gibson, you hit it right on the head. Yep, it's funny until that scary bear shows up. And I'd hate for any child to have to face that. But try to explain that to some people, just knock your head on a door. Yeah, well, that's exactly right, Carlton. I know you're replying to Dwight, but absolutely. Sometimes, you got to, unfortunately, experience some kind of bad thing to open up your eyes for a good thing. Right. 9/11 is one of those things right there.
I'll tell you, our kids do not go out in the yard, not unless we're out in the yard too.
Yeah, and you can't. You just can't do that.
And that's our yard,
And Dwight Allen has hit it right on the head. Carlton Jones, lack of discipline is why we have so many delinquents. And that's exactly right. It's got to start at the house, ladies and gentlemen. It's got to start with parenting, good parenting. Y'all, hey, most of the parents grew up back in a time where everything was pretty decent, pretty good. So you know what's right from wrong. You've got to take control of your child, boy or girl. Take control of your child. Teach them the right things. Now, understand, some of these kids has got minds of their own today. Why? Because of this and media. They're feeding you that garbage. Yeah. They're feeding you garbage. Okay, my mom and dad lays a hand on me, I'm going to call Child Protective Services. Well, here you go. Let me dial it up for you. As soon as I put my hand on your backside, I'm going to dial the number up for you, and then you can tell them to come get you, because I'm going to tell you, the place that they're going to take you is not nowhere near what home is. And then you hear a lot of them crying, hey, I want to come back home. I want to come back home.
Right.
Yeah, after you've already embarrassed and put your family out there, now everybody knows what you did, because everybody's got their own opinion about different things. You know what I'm saying? Dave, I know you're a good person, but let me say you disciplined your son. Let's say you disciplined your son, okay? They call Child Protective Services on you. I know you're a good guy, and I know why you did it. But what about the next man or the next lady over there going, well, dadgum Dave Holland, owner of Harry Business over there, just got Child Protective Services called on him. I wonder what he did. They're thinking negative of you already. Why? Because that is a negative situation.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't like that particular thing right there. Children's got too much control right now of what they can do. I know some children right now that run their household. That is terrible. That is terrible. No child, you'll guarantee your children's not running your household. I guarantee you Dwight's children's not running their household. I guarantee, well, you're not old enough yet, Austin Stevens. I guarantee you Donald Stevens is not running their house. I know several people here that ain't happening.
Sheila Lyons is the boss of her household.
Oh, I can guarantee you that. So that's absolutely right.
She got Philip to back her up, too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So anyway, we've been talking. Thank you, guys. I see we got several more viewers coming on. This is On the Spot with David Rodgers. Dave, I need you to go back. I'm sorry. I just need you to go back just a couple of spots there. Dave is on this thing, man. I tell you, we're ready to get to the next one. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining On the Spot with David Rodgers. Right here to my right is Mr. Mitchell Gunner. To my left is Mr. Austin Stevens, our weather guy. Producing Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. John Probst, Mr. Byron Bagwell, who couldn't be with us tonight, Mr. Heater, who is working, and Mr. Roger Cruz, MIA. Missing in that action.
He's probably working.
He may be working. He may have taken a shift. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to get to all your comments. And I know y'all want to talk about that big game last night. And we're going to talk some other things as well. Absolutely, because we still got our sports section coming up. And I am going to have Mr. Mitchell Gunner hit a couple of topics on the national level. I know y'all want to hear what's going on there. So Mr. Mitchell Gunner is not only going to do the local, he's going to do the national too. So anyway, let's see. Sheila Lyons, amen, Dwight Allen. My generation have no reason and folklore to fear. Well, okay. Yeah, I don't know how old is Noah. Y'all know Noah? Noah, how old are you, sir? I'm not sure how old you are. I'm assuming we're all about the same age. I don't want to give my age away here. Don't you even say it, Austin.
You're what, 41? 41? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yep. Only by the grace of God and the great people of Bradford County. Thank you, Kurt says. Kurt, if y'all don't know Kurt Miracle right now, he's one of the most generous guys I know. Great heart, great family guy too as well. His brother, very generous. He will help anybody out that needs to, you know what I'm saying, that needs help backwards for you. Yeah. I don't want to put Kurt out there too much, but Kurt is a great person. Kurt, thank you for what you do. And I will be giving you a phone call, as Dave said, if I can get through to you. David Rodgers ate good.
Following up with the
When did I eat good, Dwight? Last night, or are you're talking about my gut, aren't you? Oh gosh. Oh boy. JJ Thompson, brother, we're doing good, man. It was good to see you tonight. Noah, we need life in prison for the criminals, Mr. David. Absolutely. Well, it depends what you do. Now, look, I don't know how y'all feel about that. Maybe that's another topic we can get into. If you're a murderer, if you're a rapist, if you're a kidnapper and all that, I don't want you back out on the streets.
No.
We know we've got this pot issue going on, or marijuana issue, if you want to call it, going on, where states are legalizing marijuana. And I know you might want to chime in on this. So right now in the state of Florida, it is not, right?
Right.
It is not legal.
Right. You have to have medical. You have to have medical. Right. So if you're smoking marijuana without a medical prescription, you're doing it illegal.
Correct.
All right. So let's just say you're smoking it and you have more than a couple of ounces on you. Well,
Take a
that's
gram.
probably going to do,
Put you in jail.
they're going to put you in jail. Do I think you need to serve life for that? No. No, I don't think you need to serve life for that. I think you need to do your time, get rehabilitated, and come back out and be a productive citizen.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you, Noah, on those other ones, though, the murders, the rapists, and the kidnappers, and the
Usually
all those
kidnapping
people.
does carry a life sentence.
Yeah, it
I mean,
does.
25 years.
Yeah, if you kill somebody with a gun, something like that.
If you are prescribed by a doctor,
Right.
doesn't mean you can be driving down the road,
No.
medicating yourself.
Right.
That'll get you a DUI.
Yes, it will. And if you kill somebody with your vehicle, that's going to get you vehicular manslaughter. So, yeah, you got to watch out for all those things. I tell you, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm on my way at work at 3:45 in the morning, and I work in Lake City from
you at 4:00 in the morning.
Yes, Austin, it is. But anyway, I drive down 121 and 100, and those roads are dark. You know how they are anyway. We've got multiple accidents that's happened. I'm not even drinking, and I'm thinking, wow, what if I was drinking? What if I was high on marijuana? What if I was high on cocaine and driving down that road and I hit somebody? I'm afraid I'm going to hit somebody now because, sometimes you get tired. And, I fell asleep at the wheel. I'm sure you have too. And you go, woo, you hit that, and, you wake up. But, what if I do?
I've done
Yeah,
that.
and
coming
I've
back
hit many.
across
I've hit
Texas.
2 deers. I've hit 2 deers on that road. You know what I mean? So you can see the damage on my car right now from that. But what I'm saying is I'm afraid that I'm going to do that. I'm doing all the right things. You know what I mean? But what about somebody? You know what I'm
about
saying?
the guy coming down the road toward you?
Oh yeah, remember that one? Yeah, or the guy coming towards you. What is he on? Who knows? But anyway, just be careful, as Dave was saying. Sex offenders, they have signs in front of the property.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. And that's exactly right. And I know they're supposed to. Yeah. So absolutely, they should. And we should be enforcing that too, Lucy. When I mean bear, I mean grizzly. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Go to this link, and this is Renee Stegall. Go to this link and put in your zip code to see how many are near you and where they live. She's got it right there. And everybody can see it right there. So I'm not even going to read that off there because when I read those off, I mess them up.
Right.
Yeah, I mess them up. So
Offender,
yeah, but FDLE, yeah.
State Florida, US/offenders.
That's backslash, Dave.
Backslash.
Slash. FDL Sexual Offender and Predator System. Thank you, Renee Stegall Shaw. Yeah, very much. And that's Renee living in Mississippi. So she must know her Mississippi one as well. Thank you very much for that. We really appreciate that. They're supposed to. Connie's replying to Lucy, but not all of them do, as Dave and you were saying. Eddie Boatwright, thank you for joining us on the Spot with David Rodgers. Hey, great show tonight. We've had some breaking news. We've done some local news. We've done some weather service.
That military helicopter that is.
Yeah, we reported a military helicopter crashing at Middleburg Elementary. So, yeah,
Well, Mercy
no
Landing.
update. Yeah.
Mercy Landing.
Mercy
Not
Landing,
crash.
yeah.
Mercy
So,
Landing.
yeah, we got us a emergency landing.
Not
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah, not a mercy landing, emergency landing.
I think Lucy's got it right.
I need to castrate them predators. Buddy, I'll tell you what, Lucy Davis, if you want to, we'll line them up for you. We'll go get them and we'll line them up for you, and you can do the deed. So, our sex offenders, yeah, I got you. When we see kids out, let's keep our eyes open. As our sheriff says, see something, say something.
That's right.
Kurt, you hit it right on the head. Yeah, absolutely. We got to do that. We got to protect our kids. Our kids are our future. We hope they all do the right thing. Some of them do not. And it's unfortunate that happens, but that's the way of life, and it is what it is.
Hey, if you see something and you don't do anything about it,
then you're just as guilty and as fault, right? That's what I say. I say you're just as guilty and as fault. So
Good evening,
let's
Noah.
see. You can spank your kids as long as you keep it on the buttocks. Well, I would think so. I would think so. But you know what, though? Kids nowadays, even if you spank them on the buttocks, they can still tell on you, and they can still have CPS come out there. It's an embarrassing situation. And then you got to explain you spanked your kid on the buttocks.
Well,
And then what happens? Then CPS, child welfare, so everybody gets involved, and then they've got to figure out
And it'd be in
who's
your
right
life-
and who's wrong.
Then it'll be in your life for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Forever.
exactly right. For a spanking on the buttocks that
Well,
we used to get.
Well, I got to say, I come from a different time zone. And my mom, she always gave me the opportunity to go out and pick my switch.
I've done that too.
Well, guess what? We don't send anybody for switches anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah. My mom
That's the
caught
problem.
me one time. I had like 3-4 pair of underwear on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
She didn't
and
like that.
hey, and don't bring back the wrong switch, like you said. You bring back that little tiny switch, which to me hurts because that thing's whipping through the wind. But don't bring that one back. Your mama wants to see this one. She wants to see that one, or your dad wants to see that switch. Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you what. That's not a switch, Dad. I told my dad, that's not a switch. That's a tree limb. That's a tree trunk. Don't get me. There ain't no way, my goodness. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I brought
Hey,
one of
but
those
you're
back.
right, Dave. You're absolutely
I
right.
brought one of those back.
And
My
it
mom
also
said, I ain't
comes
hitting
down
you
to
with
the
that.
scoops.
And she went and got her own.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So,
At least it wasn't
Anyway.
a car antenna.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, now you're talking about getting yourself called on DC.
I'm just kidding. That's
Yeah,
never,
don't do that.
that's
Don't
never-
do that.
That's never happened to me. Just,
Yes, dear Daddy.
Well, Renee Stegall Shaw. Yes, Daddy. Yeah. Renee Stegall Shaw
now, I
says.
did get the fly swatter a couple of times.
Jen.
Whatever
Whatever they
use.
can get a hold of. Renee Stegall Shaw says, liar to me, unless, of course, that makes me 41 too. Well, Renee, it does make you 41. How about that? There you go. You've just been indoctrinated to the 41 club.
Oh,
How about that? Huh? Renee, congratulations. You're in the 41 club. There you go. Connie Wilson says her too. Well, congratulations, Connie. Yeah, you're in the 41 club too. Look at Kurt Miracle. Yes, sir. He's in the 41 club. Absolutely. Look at Kurt Miracle. There you go. Patton Vanguard book signing already happening on January 4th. Oh, already happened. Oh, okay.
okay.
Samantha Prater, thank you for joining us. Which was at Camp Blanding? It was. I need to castrate those predators again. Well, I'm sorry. I would line them up for you to do that. I'm sure all of us would, but unfortunately, I guess we can't do that right now.
You can finish them all with one 9-foot CB antenna.
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah.
I have a recipe.
Noah
for a
Gibson.
disaster.
Medically, yes. I don't know how it works. Well, Dave, do you know how that medical works? I know we was going to try to get somebody on here that knew a little bit about that. And I'll tell you what, Noah, just for you, we're going to try to get somebody on here that knows about medical prescription of marijuana, getting it legally prescribed to you. And we'll let him answer those questions for you. We've talked about doing that one time.
No, I
So
think
we'll go
he's
ahead.
talking about the castration.
Oh,
Chemical.
okay. No, because he says, I don't know how it works. Is he talking about Lucy castrating the predators? I think he's talking about the marijuana. I think
Maybe,
medical.
okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about the
I just
castration.
thought maybe he was talking about doing it chemically.
Oh,
Because
well,
they can do
true.
it chemically.
Well, we can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not me. They. Okay. Joel. Well, you said you. Joel Davis. J.D. Whittle. Thank you for joining us. Samantha Prater said that's so sad. Yep. David DeVar Jr. Has anything been said about the current school board issues concerning the attorney? I just tuned in. Do you know what he's talking about there, Mitchell Gunner?
I can find out.
We can find out for you, David. No doubt about it. He's going to write it in his notes right here, and we'll find out about that, and we'll report it just as soon as we can.
You're going to go home with a list that's 3 feet long.
Absolutely. That's his homework, for sure. Yep. Archie Waters. That's why I don't have kids, because if I can't raise my kids like my mom raised me.
That's
Yeah. That's a good point. But you know what? If your
Hey,
kid, if you keep your
Actually,
kid,
can we go down just a little bit?
okay, down.
Yeah, about the attorney.
Oh, okay, right there, David DeVore Jr. Yeah, about the current school board issues about the.
Can you fill me in just a little bit about the
Yeah,
issues?
David. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
And see if I already may know the answer or if it's something I need to look into.
Okay, let's see. Archie Waters, we read that. Belt works great. I agree to White Allen, but you know what? Hey, unfortunately, they'll still turn you in for that too. But I love the belt idea.
You know what?
There's school, like the school gets involved. That's the problem.
Well, that's because kids go and tell their teachers and their administrators, and their administrators have no choice
but
to call
Yeah.
because if not, they're not doing their job and they're withholding information.
Lucy, yes.
You know what? For today's, instead of a belt, take their phone away.
Yeah,
Take their computer away.
sure.
I'm talking about what Lucy just
Oh,
said.
yeah.
the
Y'all
plastic
remember? Yes,
racetrack.
I do remember
Yeah.
those, and that's exactly right. Yeah. Ooh, did those hurt or what? My goodness. Sean Bergen, thank you. So, Dwight Allen, no wire hangers. It hurts. Yes, it does. No cat. Oh, no. 39 and holding, Lucy Davis says. Well, good. You're welcome there, Noah. How about that? Marijuana, I want to see that personally. Okay. Archie Waters, 50 and holding. Archie's given his right age. That's good. All right, Archie, congratulations. Sounds good, David said. Maybe he'll come back and maybe he'll give us a little bit more. Will Smith, RIP, Mr. Sparks. And I think that's what he brought it on there, Dave. So and maybe Will is close to the situation. But anyway, yes, we'll get in more of that as we find out more information, right, David? Isn't it with homeschooling? Yes. I personally think, I know a lot of people have issue with homeschooling. A couple of issues for me is, number one, eventually you're going to have to get into society. You're going to have to be able to know how to deal with people. You're going to have to be able to know how to deal with authority. You're going to have to know how to deal with all kinds of things. And I think if you homeschool, that you don't get that interaction with other kids and other people.
Right.
And I think that lacks in the homeschooling as far as that goes, as far as that you being a person and being noteworthy in society and knowing what to do in case a situation comes out in society that you need to get involved with. I do like homeschooling. On the other front is you can get that personal one-on-one. I do like that. Most mothers usually stay home and do the homeschooling. Most kids usually do it on their own with their computers. And I think it gives them a one-on-one feeling. Right now, water classes, it just depends on what class you're in. Sometimes, 1 to 28, 1 to 30, 1 to 32. That's a lot for one teacher to handle. And if a student is having issues, it's hard for that teacher, and I know a lot of them still do, try to help out as much as they can, but it's hard to get that one-on-one to that student because she's got to worry about the other 26 students that are doing good and that are moving on with their work.
Right.
So,
and speaking of that, I know, some children, they have trouble and they have to qualify for 504s and IEPs.
IEPs, yeah.
And one of the things that I'm going to address, and this is no fault of the school system, this is a problem in Tallahassee of it takes such a long time for a child to get an IEP because they have to meet so many different criterias.
Right.
I want to start talking to our state representatives up in Tallahassee and also with the Board of Education up there on trying to narrow that thing down so these kids don't go a year and a half trying to meet all the criteria that they need to get the help that they need. Because to me, they have the No Child Left Behind Act, and I believe that those children should be covered in that act, and it needs to be the process needs to be a whole lot quicker. So I'm going to start working on that And,
That's great, man. See, there's Mitchell Gunner right there trying to get all over an issue right there for us. And I'm going to tell you what, man, this is the guy that you want researching right here because he knows exactly what's going on. So he knows how to get the job done. You're exactly right. Roger Cruz, thank you for joining us. Where are you at? I thought you were supposed to be here tonight, buddy, looking for help on the sports.
Whoops.
Lisa Maybe, thank you. Lisa Maben, excuse me, thank you. Kurt Miracle says, whipping hurt and work, but in my experience with my boys as teenagers, taking the privileges away like the computer, car, etc., also worked wonders as well. Just what you were saying, David. Yeah, take away the privileges, take away the things that they're always used to, and I think that works as well. Apparently, they're hiring an outside attorney concerning folks put into homeschool status, possibly without their consent, and maybe that's what Samantha was talking about.
No pun intended, but when I was born, God took away my driving rights. No pun intended.
No pun intended. So Renee's back on with us. Do you know anything about that, Mitchell? We'll research it.
I actually called superintendent's office and see if I can get some information on that and have it for y'all by next Tuesday because I won't be joining here Saturday.
Right. We're gonna talk about that as we get on into the show. I want to move on here real quick, and then I want to move on to some national stuff and of course the sports. Dwight Allen, good night, sir. I know you got to work early in the morning. Lucy Davis, thank you for those nice compliments. Turn on homeschooling, someone is going to get problems. Turn on homeschooling, someone is going to get problems. Well, yeah, because the parents that are homeschooling right now is going to voice their opinion, and you'll have a big old deal at the school board. But homeschooling is allowed until you take those rights away from those parents and you take homeschooling away, period. Guess what? You're going to be able to homeschool. So let's just see what comes out about that. Kids were put in the homeschool status to boast the counties. Yeah, I do know a little bit what he's talking about. I'm not talking about bad homeschooling. I'll read it for you, Mitchell, and then you can elaborate. I'm saying if kids were put into homeschool status to boast the county's graduation average and also the school's grade average as well. Right. So that's exactly what he's talking about right there, Mitchell. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, I'm just thinking maybe some of the parents are taking their kids that are struggling in the school system to get more one-on-one with them to help bring their grades up and to help them graduate. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Whatever works to help a child to get his education, and as long as he's meeting the requirements or she's meeting the requirements by the state of Florida, I have no problem with it.
I have none either.
And talking about that also, with those students being homeschooled, if they're in high school, they can also take classes down at the vocational college.
Yes, they can.
And they can also earn them certificates in certain fields that will help them when they do graduate get better paying jobs.
So excellent. No, there you go. So,
I'm a big believer in kids participating down there at the the technical college. It's not the VOTEC no more. The technical college. To help them, because not all these kids are going to go to college, and we want to put them on a playing field where they're making good money and they're able to support themselves a whole lot faster, and not putting down fast food restaurants whatsoever.
No,
it's a good basis for
it's a good start
to get into the work field, but we also want our kids to advance beyond that.
Yes.
And work in construction, be plumbers, electricians, nurses. I mean, they got nurses. Hairstylists.
Yeah, we need all those. Those are service jobs.
IT people.
Yes.
So that vocational college down there is very important, and we are very lucky to have that in our county because some counties do not have the opportunity to have something like that.
No, not at all.
So, and I want to thank our superintendent, Brad Bishop, and whoever else is involved in overlooking the vocational college down there. Thank you for what you're doing and helping provide extra education for our students and also for adults.
Yeah. Personally, homeschooling is best only. Also sad when bullying happens and pushes that child into where home is warmest.
Well, you are correct.
You are correct, Samantha.
And one of my things is when I ran for school board a while back, and I spoke on this several times. In my opinion, if you have a child that's coming into school and bullying another student, I had the 3 strikes you're out clause. After the 3rd strike, you are mom and dad's responsibility, or whoever has responsibility over that child. It is their job to make sure their child gets educated and not, at home and not in the school system, because with all that bullying and everything going on in the classroom, you're disrupting every student in the class. The teacher's got to start all back over from where she or he started from in the beginning on trying to teach a lesson, and then boom, before you know it, the time's ran out in the class and the next class is coming in. So, I mean, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. I know we do have the alternative school as well.
Yep.
But I'm like Samantha, we need to address situations like that and deal with them with a quick response, so we don't get into, pushing a child out that's being bullied. We need to take care of the bully, not the one that's being bullied.
All right, fully agree. Noah Gibson, please don't ask too many questions. I'll explain at a later date, okay? Bird Eddie McGee, thank you. Emily Riggs, thank you. Good night, Noah. Eddie Sigmund, join us. Here's Renee. I know some of parents here that have taken their kids out of public school and started homeschooling because of bullying and other social issues.
Right.
Just what you just talked about right there.
Yeah, it was funny because this was years ago before everyone, where the cell phones became in every child's hand almost. I'll tell you, my 15-year-old, he doesn't have a cell phone.
Wow. Okay.
No, he doesn't have one. So when I sat down, when they were making out the criteria for the rules at the high school, I was sitting in with the student body, and they were because there was a problem of boys going around were taking pictures of girls.
Correct. Yeah.
And they were sending it all around the school by text message or by email, and it caused a big problem. And I told them basically, no electronic devices allowed on school property.
Agree with that.
Yeah, I do
And
too.
then it squashes all that. And then one of the students says, well, what do we do if we have to call our parents?
Go
I
to
said,
the
go
office.
to the office and use the phone. That's what we had to do. And,
Yep.
and we survived,
I would love for you to go to the office, kids. I would love for you to go to the office and use the rotary phone.
Right.
How about that phone? Remember that one? Ring, ring. You're trying to get a hold of mom in a hurry, and that thing's going.
But this was years and years ago, and a lot of things have changed since then, and everything. But
send them out to the phone.
And I tell you one other thing that I think will help a lot with these bullying situations is, I don't know how everybody feels about it, but I believe there ought to be a camera in every classroom.
I have no issue with it.
I
don't have an issue with that.
Because what that does, it protects the student.
And
if the teacher is doing something that's wrong, and it protects the teacher if the student is doing something wrong.
And everybody says, well, that's an invasion of privacy. Well, wait a minute. Hang on. You're in a public school. So, and anyway, even so what? Even if you're in a private setting, so what? If you're not doing anything wrong, or you don't think that you're going to do anything wrong, you would want those cameras in there. Right. You would want them to have your back. Right. Only the people that may think, oh, am I doing something wrong? Oh, I don't really want that camera. That's who would probably oppose that, Mitchell.
Right. Well, if you had cameras in a school and in the hallways and you see somebody coming in with a gun, that would give you a first response right
That's
there.
correct.
Well, and another thing, someone's not going to be sitting down there watching every camera feed of every classroom in every school.
No.
These things will be stored on a DVR, and when an incident arises, they will go check it. They'll go to that DVR. They'll go to that particular camera where the incident was, and they will rewind it back to that time frame, and boom, it will show the incident, what had happened.
Yep. What's that show that comes on ID? See No Evil, right? They go and look for what? The cameras, wherever they're at, because that tells the story. That can give you a timeline. That can give you a picture. Same thing in a classroom and what you were just explaining.
And I know some people like the idea and some people don't like the idea. Like I've always said, you're not going to make everybody happy. But those cameras are very important, especially if some violent stuff is happening when a teacher walks out of the classroom for a minute, or she's got her back turned and she's trying to write something up on the board. That camera can actually expose the person who's actually doing the harm.
Sure.
And take care of the problem.
Samantha, I'll agree with you. The middle school is terrible with bullying. I think it's worse than the high school at times. Yeah, they've got some issues down there, and it's just that age. Those 6th graders to 8th graders got that little mentality. Hey, I'm the big dog, blah blah blah, and it's just the way it is. And I fully agree with you. I couldn't agree more. However, it was done by choice. Why do we need to hire an outside attorney to defend what was done? Well, that's a good question there, Mitchell, and maybe we can find that out why that is.
The only thing I could think of, the reason why they did that, maybe they wanted to speak to someone who had more expertise in that particular subject,
right?
To make sure they were in compliance with the law,
right?
And with the Florida Department of Education,
right?
I have no problem if that's the case. If they just wanted to make sure they were staying in the lines.
Renee says, and the bullying doesn't necessarily happen during class. Sometimes it's in the bathroom or cafeteria. I fully agree. That's why you have cafeteria monitors in there. Should be.
Right.
Now, I know the bathroom is a little different story because.
Can't put cameras there.
Yeah.
Now, that would be invasion
That
of
would be
privacy.
invasion of privacy there. However, you can put a bathroom monitor in there. In each one of those bathrooms, make sure everything's okay. You know what I'm saying? A bathroom monitor should be there anyway.
An audio?
So no, I'm talking about a person. I'm talking about a man in the boys' bathroom and a woman in the women's bathroom for sure. After PE, showers. Somebody should be there monitoring as well. The women's PE coach should be in that locker room, making sure everything's okay. The men's PE coach, same way. Because like you said, it can happen at these not only in the classroom, it can happen in these areas, and even it can even happen on campus outside of the school building. You know what I mean?
And,
so it happens everywhere.
And some people might think that I'm out of line, but I'm telling you, some of the schools in Gainesville's got them, and some of the public schools in Jacksonville has these cameras.
Absolutely.
And not only do they have cameras at some of these schools, but they also have metal detectors that the kids have to walk through.
Especially in Jacksonville right now with those 2 school shootings, the school shootings that you heard about at the football game. Now that's why Duval County has to play, unfortunately, Friday night lights now at 6 o'clock because a couple of idiots wanted to bring a firearm to the stadium and start shooting it. So now Duval County says, well, we'll take the nightness out of the way. Now you can go to your games during the day. So, yeah, we're an audience-driven overtime. I shook you up, didn't I? There we go. Yes to the camera, absolutely. I want more fire specialists out by the on standby at the middle school. Okay, or emergency. Okay, well, I'll have Mitchell Gunner look into that and see what he thinks. Camera in halls, dining halls, and courts. I think some schools do already.
Yes, some schools do.
Yeah.
And don't quote me on it, but I am almost positive maybe our school district's already looking in that, or they're going to be talking about it up there on the floor in Tallahassee. For schools to have these camera systems.
Right.
All of them put in place. So I think it's a good idea, but like I said, you're going to have a few.
Yeah, you are going to have a few. Chantel Rich, thank you for joining us. Kirk's brother, Kenny Miracle's joining us. Thank you. Hey. Randolph Denny, how are you, ma'am? At least. Okay, Noah Gibson says, what did Kirk say? I agree. No electronics in schools during open hours. Fully agree with that. Yeah, we need to take that away. And they, like I said, they can, if they need to call their parents, they can go up to the office if it's necessary or deemed to, go right to the front office. I'm sure they'll let you use the phone. Michael McKenzie, thank you. It's called cell phone jamming. Replying to Kurt. Yeah, I agree. The students in Gainesville still get in trouble. Oh, absolutely. He's like, yeah. And I don't think Mitchell Gunner was saying you're going to stop everything. You can deter some of it. Right. You're not going to stop everything. There's always, hey, what do I always like to say? There's always a loophole in something. Yeah, and you'll find it. And hey, kids will find it. Austin, no pun intended, no, nothing against you. But if you were trying to find something, you can find it, couldn't you? Absolutely.
Oh, I will.
So, oh yeah. So there's always a loophole in everything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna right here is the end of the comments. Did you want to elaborate one more
I've
thing
got
here?
one thing
Okay.
to bring up. I want to let everybody know during the month of February, sometime during that month, the county will be redoing that entrance and exit way there at 21B at the collection site.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that's about
All right.
about the time frame. It's going to be somewhere in February, and when they do it, that collection site will be shut down for that day for them to do all the corrections. So I'm just hoping it does what I want it to do and try to alleviate the congestion there at 21B and 100.
Right.
And
Maybe we can
we
be
will
on
see.
site.
Well, I tell you what, the no passing zone stripes that I had DOT put down out there on Mingdary Road,
Right.
we haven't had, knock on wood, we've had one incident where someone went to go turn off the road and they changed their mind and the tractor trailer had to avoid them from hitting them.
Right.
So.
All right. I want to get into some national news. You got a couple of stories here. Mr. Byron Bagwell to my left is not here tonight. I'm sure he had to work. I know he was on with us, but we wanted to get into a couple of national stories. This has been a great show so far, ladies and gentlemen. From the bottom of our hearts, I want to thank you for all your comments, all your knowledge on these different subjects and topics. Also want to tell Renee and anybody that's listening out of town, please, if something's going on in Pascagoula or the state of Mississippi, send it to us. We would love to talk about it.
Definitely.
We just don't want to talk about our local government and our state and our county, as we talk national news as well. But we want to talk about your state. I do believe that I'm not sure which one lives in Alabama. There's somebody who lives in Alabama. We would love to have y'all's news and anything that you want us to talk about. We'll talk about it for sure. Just send it to us. Give us a little time to research it. Or if it's something that we can elaborate on right away, please make sure that you tell us, because we would love not only to delve, as we say at our opening, in our own stuff, but we want to make sure that we're delving into yours as well.
Okay, well, one of the things that's going on, we all know about the airliner that was shot down by the Iranian government.
Yeah.
And it says right now that the new crash video shows that 2 missiles were actually fired to knock that aircraft out of the sky.
That's that Ukrainian jet flight 752, ladies and gentlemen.
That killed, 176 people on board.
Yep.
So then we're starting to get more and more truth of what had happened.
Right.
With that situation. Tonight, President Trump is in Milwaukee at a rally.
Okay.
And they're saying that the Dems will not give credit for killing that son of a...
Blah, blah, beep.
Right.
Beep. Okay. All right.
Then Dems release a trove of impeachment files before key votes today.
So not only do we have the Iranian thing going on, and Trump is in Milwaukee, as he was at the national championship game last night, as y'all all seen, which we'll delve into here in just a couple of minutes. But, we got this Iranian thing going on. There's all kinds of things going on in our nation and our world right now.
Right.
As we always say, that's affecting our everyday lives. It may not hit us right away, Mitchell, right now, but it's affecting us down the road.
Right. And then there was a story that broke yesterday about Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, that Bernie Sanders was having his people attack her campaign.
Oh, geez.
So now we got them two fighting amongst each other.
Boy.
So that's kind of interesting and fun to watch.
Wow.
And then I'll tell you what, before we get into that college football game,
Sure.
boy, what a wonderful gesture of all the fans there had for President Trump when him and the First Lady walked out last night.
That was good.
That was respect.
Yes, it was.
And that's one thing that our country has been lacking. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, but our nation has been electing respect for one another. Sorry, I had to scoot down for a second.
I love it.
My knees were killing me. So it was a really great thing to see.
Right.
that people can set their differences aside
Right.
and do great things.
That's a great point that you bring up, Mitchell. We need to unify this country. I tell you, hey, this bickering and fighting amongst ourselves has got to stop. We got to stop this division that we have in this country between political parties. We need, as voters, as citizens of the United States, we need to stand up. If these people aren't doing their jobs, if these people are corrupt, if these people are doing anything that besides supposedly working for you, we as a group, we need to vote these people out, man, and put somebody in there that wants to work, that wants to do good for us, the citizens of the United States of America. This, Mitchell, you've said it many times, the best country to live in the world today, the freest country, as Byron has said, and you have said, the freest country in the world today, with the greatest armed forces in the world today, is the United States of America. But if we keep on doing what we're doing, I hate to use this word, Mitchell, but we're going to self-implode.
Right.
We're going to self-implode our own selves. And our founding forefathers has said that in a lot of their sayings and a lot of our writings, if we keep letting it do this. But you know, we outnumber politicians. We are the ones that put those guys in office. And we can take those guys out of office.
Right. Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
So, you know, make sure that you say your piece and your word for whatever it is. That if it's something you disagree with, you've always said, man, call your local whoever. Like for us, we talk about the commissioners. Call your local commissioner. Call your senator. Call your representative. That is your right to do so as a what? As a United States citizen, as a taxpayer, and as a registered voter. You can do that.
Right.
And they should answer you.
They will answer you, and the secretaries will call you back. Trust me. I've worked with several of them here in the past couple of months, and they're very persistent. They want to know what's going on,
right?
And what kind of things you want to change, and they want you to put it in an email so they can hold on to it or send that email to the parties that it may concern.
Right.
Also. Speaking of what's going on, you know, we've had a volcano erupt here in the Philippines. I've actually worked with a guy today over there in Alachua County, works for a contractor, and he was showing pictures over there. He's got a lot of family. He said his mom and dad live 1 mile from the evacuation. So he said they will probably get evacuated pretty soon because it still hasn't really erupted yet. And, man, you should just see the ash on everything, and then it rained, and it's just a mucky mess over there. And speaking of which was really something unusual. You know, we've been paying attention to Puerto Rico with all the earthquakes that's been going on. Yeah, and they're still getting some pretty good tremors. And then they have one, Sunday in Delaware.
Yep.
So 4 point something on the Richter scale. They're in Delaware.
That causes a little wreaking havoc.
There's a lot of plates making adjustments, and but yeah, keep those families in your prayers. Them in Puerto Rico and out there in the Philippines, dealing with devastation. Yeah,
and Mitchell, you've hit this right on the head many a times. This is a human being issue. If you're any kind of human being and got any kind of compassion in your heart and your soul, you would send the care. You would take the time to say prayers, because it's not about being American. It's not about being Japanese. It's not about being Norwegian. It's about being a human being, man. You know what I'm saying? We all have to live in this world. And you know, this world right now is in a lot of turmoil, and we've said that many a times, and we all have to live in it. So if you're any kind of human being, you've got to have some kind of passion in your heart for these people that, like you said, in other countries and other parts of the world that are feeling these things, the earthquakes, like you said, any kind of unrest. You need to pray for those people as well.
And also keep on remembering Australia. You know, I've been keeping up with what's going on. I think they're up to 180 something arrests for people setting fires. And then you have some people saying, well, it's because of global warming. No, it's because of 180 something people dumb people setting fires in Australia.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
Yeah, it is.
And it has killed over 1 billion animals.
Did you see those animals running on the beach, trying to get away from there, running on the beach?
Yeah.
That is horrible, horrible, horrible. And if you are an arsonist over in Australia, I hope they give you the max prison sentence that they can give you. I'm going to tell you right now, that is horrible. All those arsonists setting those dadgum fires. Do they know what they're doing? Man, are you trying to cause unrest in your country?
Right.
There could cause.
They could have wiped out some certain animals' populations
forever.
Yeah,
you're talking
totally
extinct?
Yeah.
None.
Right, exactly.
Well, the koala bear, they can't run.
No.
And they're getting close to the extinction level.
Right, yeah. And isn't that crazy? So I think the panel will agree here. We need to put a foot in those guys' tails.
I just can't believe 180 arsonists.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And think about these are wild animals, and they're actually walking up to humans for help.
For help.
That is something very unusual to watch, is a wild animal to come up to a human for help.
I've seen some of those videos, dude, man, and I tell you, we're all grown men. I shed tears.
Oh yeah, it's very upsetting.
I shed tears. You got to have a heart oh my gosh, man. Don, have you seen some of those things, man? That is just horrible, man. That is
227 people.
227 now?
227 now.
18 of them were fired.
Yeah, and 18 of them are supposed to be putting these things out.
Not spreading them. And the whole thing about global warming, and even in the northern hemisphere, here in Florida, how everyone's saying that, it's global warming, the reason why we're hot right now. The record high yesterday was set at Gainesville Airport back in 1932. If that doesn't tell you any indication, global warming is not a thing. Just the Earth goes through a pattern, and that's what's causing these wildfires.
That is correct. Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
When the people don't understand, when the Earth revolves around the sun, it does not stay on the same pattern.
No, it doesn't.
Every time. It does change.
Yes, it does.
It does change.
Yes, it does. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. I'm going to get into the sports for just a quick second. First of all, I want to say congratulations to the LSU Tigers. Joe Burrows, Heisman Trophy winner. That receiving core, that offensive, the whole team played outstanding last night against, as Dave said earlier in this show, a great Clemson team. You're not 29-1 for nothing.
No.
I don't care what conference you're in. You beat your opponents in front of you. They beat a great Ohio State team to get there. LSU ran all over Oklahoma, and that game was competitive for 3 quarters. It was.
Yeah, that wasn't a number 1 or number 2 team.
No.
That was 2 number 1
teams in the country. And that game was good through 3 quarters. And I'll break that down more on Saturday. I know that we're getting on to the time here.
Sorry,
I'll break
Dave.
that. No. This was great conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I love this. I love this forum. And that'll get me some notes. I'll get you some stats and some things like that on the game comparison. So we'll do that Saturday night. I know you won't be here, but I'll be able to do that. Maybe you can tune in. But congratulations to the LSU Tigers. I know people say, me and Byron and Dave, we were talking about the officiating. I'll be honest with you, it was horrible. We all talked about that. I thought the officiating was horrible on both sides. I thought there was some calls there where the guys, LSU players' hand went down. Then they went and scored a touchdown. The ball that Ross from Clemson caught, and it hit the ball hit the ground. He had possession of that. That you still review it and you still don't overturn it. The targeting call I thought was the main key of the game when Skolasky, the middle linebacker, the junior there for Clemson.
47.
He was wreaking havoc all night, and even Dave said, "Oh my God, man, are they going to stop this guy?" I mean, he was causing.
Yeah,
he put Burrows on his tail several times, and he was causing wreaking havoc. Once he left the ball game, it was pretty much done. Then you could see the deflation of the Clemson defense, which played.
Started
falling apart there and started giving up some big plays. Trevor Lawrence was not on. I've never seen him like that. He threw a lot of high passes last night, Mitchell. We even talked about that. Everything he just looked out of sync. But, hey, Still got to play the game. Still got to go out there and win it. Congratulations to LSU because they did it. 15-0. What a miracle season. Hey, you come out there, you take care of business in your conference, the SEC conference, which I think is one of the toughest conferences in America, if not the toughest. And you beat Oklahoma, which was there. And then you beat a great Clemson team. Like Dave said, 2 number ones fighting it out right there. There's no doubt about it. Congratulations. What a miracle season. What a way to end it right there at their home, right there in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was just one of those things that you felt was coming. You know what I mean? Even though I did pick Clemson, Byron picked Clemson as well. You gentlemen picked LSU and had real close scores. You said by what? Did you say 17?
I said by 10.
Okay. You said 17, didn't you?
I was
No?
a little closer. Than
Okay.
that,
Somebody was right on. Somebody was spot on. I forgot who it was, but I know they were spot on.
I was really surprised because I didn't watch the whole game. I had to go to bed to go to work,
Right.
and I woke up.
That's what I should have done.
And I looked at the score. I was actually a little surprised. I thought, Clemson would keep them a little tighter than that.
Yeah.
But
Well-
like you said, when they lost him, they kind of just
Yeah. Well, even when they lost him, Dave will remember this play. And even Dave said, man, I think that's chintzy. The score was it? Had they scored that touchdown yet? That 42 when he threw it to Ross and Ross caught that touchdown and they said he pushed off on offensive pass interference. Even Dave said, man, that's tick for tat, man. You cannot call that. You let the boys play, man. If you're going to call it
if
one
both
way.
of them are doing this down the field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they was
they're
shoving,
both shoving.
and the guy catches a touchdown. Now that game is 42-32 with still the fourth quarter left. Remember, because that happened either early in the fourth quarter or late in the third quarter. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. You still got to score more points than the other team.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. LSU's defense, as you said, stepped up, played well. They made the adjustments, and Burrow was just on fire. Congratulations, that guy. That guy's a stud. He's a workhorse. He's got all those records. I'll break all those records down for you. Good grief.
And in mock draft, the
He's the
Bengals
number
get him.
one. Bengals are going to get him. I wonder. Well, he's going to go home. He's going to go back home. He's an Ohio boy.
Right.
He played for Ohio State. Just happened to transfer because they brought in Justin Fields, and he didn't want to play behind. Who was
Right.
the quarterback last year for Ohio State? What's his name? Do you remember the quarterback's name? Golly, I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But that's why he transferred, and
Right.
because he was supposed to be the starter. He got hurt, and he knew he wasn't going to get his job back.
Yeah.
So he went down to LSU, and look, a miracle happened. So there you go. Congratulations to LSU. I will break that down. Want to go over a couple of quick things. The 49ers and the Vikings played this weekend, 27-10. The 49ers, Titans beat the Ravens 28-12. The Chiefs, good grief, where did they come from? 51-31 over the Texans. And the Packers beat the Seahawks. Me and Dave was talking during that game, 28-23. So that sets up the Packers at the 49ers and the Titans at the Chiefs. Real quick around the room. Austin, are you listening? Packers or the 49ers? Who do you got this Sunday? Packers at the 49ers. Green Bay at San Francisco.
I guess I'll go with the 49ers.
You're going with the 49ers. Okay. Titans and the Chiefs. Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, I'm going to go Tennessee Titans.
You're going Titans. All right, Dave?
Oh, I'm a Packers fan.
So going Packers? Okay, for
And
sure.
What was that other one?
You got Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm going to go with the Titans.
You're going with the Titans, okay. How about it there, Mitchell?
Well, I just put it like this. I got the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs going on to the Super Bowl, and I say the 49ers beat KC by 17.
Okay, so you like the 49ers to win and the Chefs to win? Or the Chiefs?
The Chiefs. Yep.
The Chefs. Remember how they spelled that one time? The Chefs. All right.
And go ahead and remind you, Dave, but when they played earlier in the season, the 49ers blew out Green Bay.
Yeah, but now it's a different story. It's a different story. It's one and done now. So I like the way the 49ers are playing defensively. They're at home. I like the 49ers. And, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I know Chiefs came out there. I don't know if they got an answer for Derrick Henry. That's who's been killing these people. I like Tennessee real close over in Kansas City there. So I like to see the 49ers and the Titans in the Super Bowl, but we'll get into that. I'll get into some college baseball. Anything else right around the room real quick? Anything? You want to give a quick weather report?
I'm looking at the forecast. I was looking at the forecast. That's why my head was sort of down looking at my phone.
That's okay.
The forecast next week, temperatures, daytime highs are actually now starting to fall according to models. So
Okay.
we're going to have very, very cold Tuesday of next week.
Ooh, All righty.
What's
Great.
Saturday look like?
Oh, here we go.
Saturday looks beautiful. Just downright beautiful.
How about
With
that?
a high of
That
80.
car's going to run good.
High of 80.
Okay.
There you go. Mitchell Gunner will be racing this Saturday night, so that's why we won't have him. But he's going
Actually,
to keep
we're
us going.
racing Saturday. We'll start racing Saturday morning.
Oh, okay.
Gates open at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll probably start racing around 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So if you don't have anything to do, come on
Come
out
on
to
out.
Gainesville Raceway. Watch some racing action.
And cheer Mitchell
It's
Gunner on.
it's very fun, entertaining.
I got you.
So come on out.
All right, Dave, final thought?
I was driving down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I got a green light. I was
Yeah.
getting ready to pull out, and this car just totally ran a red light. The
Whoops.
driver was on the phone.
Oh, boy.
Don't text and drive.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh, and texting and driving, they can give you a ticket now.
Yes, they
So,
can.
$250 worth.
Yep.
Dave, I just want to hit
3
those
points
last
on 2
comments.
laps.
That'll be my final thoughts. If we can just go through them real quick. Let's see. Starting with that, the students said, yep, they do. Dave's getting to it. Samantha says better to try than to do nothing at all. I agree. I don't have an issue with cell phones in schools. Past school shootings prove calls have come from within.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's very true.
And that's the thing.
That's the
that
thing.
one thing
Yeah,
that I talked about
yeah.
was probably
Yeah.
about 15 years ago, and things have changed a whole lot since then. So
That's a reason the public schools have phones. Good point. It now draws back to a necessary evil heart. I agree. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Good night. Good night, Samantha. Thank you for joining us. Renee, oh, Lord, you really, what? What did she say? Oh,
I
you
really
want to
don't
know
know.
what's been going on in Pascagoula politics? Absolutely, we do. Sure, we'll report it. Let us know what's going on in the state, too, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Iran shot their own, and the Iranians get hurt in the protests. Well, yeah, that's the way that it usually happens.
Yeah, their own people protesting against
them. Yeah. Sanders and Warren teams are pit bulls. No offense to pit bull owners. No offense to pit bull owners. 4 more years, Miracle says. Absolutely. Mr. David, we need a common enemy to unite against, or we continue to be united. Think about that one there, Noah. I'll give you an answer on Saturday if you join us. If he gets impeached, it could be 8 more years. Well, what do you think about that, Mitchell?
it'll never pass the Senate.
Aha! It isn't going to pass the Senate. Garrett Miracle says, yes, ma'am. Connie Wilson, I'd be thrilled with 8 more years of Trump. Yep, I hear you. Thank you. Me too. We need an enemy to unite against, or we will be tribes. Yeah, well, I don't think we've come that far yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's looking awful weary, though.
Yeah,
According to what
especially
we're
in
looking-
Virginia.
Yeah, in Virginia, you ain't kidding. Let them try that and see what they get. Even if I don't agree with the Democrats, I respect their thoughts to some degree. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not all everything they bring to the table
Right.
is terribly bad.
Right. Yeah. And Kurt Miracle, SEC, once again, I agree. But the ACC was ruling the roost there for a while. Clemson's won 2 of the last 3 until last night and could have won 3 of the last 4. So you can say the ACC, they took the belt from the ACC. So agree. Trevor got desperate, started throwing wild. Yes, he did. I do believe that the LSU defense was coming up into his face and was getting into his face. But now I want y'all to say something here because I noticed it too. That was the most times that I've seen Burrow get hit, knocked around, and thrown on his backside by anybody. That man, there was 4 or 5 sacks on him last night. He still got his numbers, still did the thing. It never rattled him.
Right.
It never rattled him.
He's
but-
he is very poised.
Yes.
Nothing rattles him.
Nothing rattled him.
And I like
Yep.
his when he makes a bad
Yep.
play, he comes off the field.
Yep.
When he makes a good play, he comes off the field.
Same
He
way.
looks the same.
So looks the same way. Yep. And Black said by 21, it was real close. You got that right. Don't forget Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus Moss, had 2 touchdown catches. Beautiful throws there. Exactly right.
He's a tight end, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Packers. Yep. Kansas City, they like 49ers and the Titans in the Super Bowl. Like it, Kurt. That's what I said. And Anthony likes the 49ers versus KC. Renee says Tennessee and San Francisco in the Super Bowl. Yep. My money's on UK. Okay. You're meaning UK, the United Kingdom. So, okay, there you go.
Are you
Sharon
talking soccer?
Stickler. I think he is talking soccer. Jajetta Lee. David DeVore Jr. and I have seen that happen in another county. It's a shame. Well, we're going to find out exactly what Mitchell can come up with, and we'll give you some type of an answer on that. Virginia governor is going to be shipped on a plane to Cal. Oh, boy. Noah gets it. I wonder if Noah's off his meds at times. What do you think, Mitchell?
I watched it.
Jajetta Lee, thank you for joining
He's
us.
trying to take all the guns away from them folks.
Yeah, boy, let him try that. And he's going to see. He's going to, anyway, we'll get into that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a wonderful show. Wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you for your input. Thank you for everything that you said. Thank you for joining us on the Spot with David Rodgers. Thank you for making this show what it is. It is a great outlet. It's a great tool for us to get information out to you, for you to give information to us so we can display it back to you or talk about whatever it is. Yeah, Jajetta Lee there. Yeah.
Let her know she's come on a little late.
Yeah, she has.
7.
We start at 7, and but hey, Jajetta, one good thing is we're going to be on YouTube, number one, eventually here. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And the second thing is you can go back and watch this broadcast if you want. You can go back in its entirety, all 2 hours and 5 minutes of it. Can you believe we've been going that long, Mitchell?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, man, it's been a great show. My gosh, I'm going to tell you, I couldn't ask for nothing better tonight, could you? I tell you, the only thing we was missing was the double buck shotgun over here, Mr. Byron Bagwell. And I'm going to call him and find out if he's okay. Haven't heard much from him. But thank you guys for joining us. Our next show will be this Saturday, minus the race car driver right here, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Unless, I don't want to say. No, Mitchell ain't going to be on the show.
That's not going to happen.
Don't say it.
New year.
Hey,
I'm going out there to win.
I'm not saying it. But anyway, me and Mr. Bagwell will be here. Mr. Dave Holland will be here. Mr. Austin Stevens will be here. We'll probably have Mr. Michael Heater and John Probst. Hope so. Maybe even MIA. You know who MIA is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tornado Cruise.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Not working.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Have a great night. We'll see you Saturday. Thank you very much. God bless.